Let me just talk about equations for now. If I said to you 3 plus what is equal to 7? The answer to the box will be what? 4? This will be a 4. 5 minus what is equal to 3? 2. Now, the way we're going to write these, instead of boxes, it's silly to write boxes. So in math, we write 3 plus x equals to 7. 5 minus x equals to 3. Notice x in this example, what's the value of x? 4. What's the value of x here? 2. So x is known as a variable. Why they call it variable? Because the value changes from problem to problem. It's not a fixed value. On the other hand, if you look at the 3 and the 5, 3, 5, 7, those numbers that you see are called constants. Their value does not change. It's always the same. It doesn't matter what time you look at the 3, it's still going to be a 3. It doesn't matter what day you look at the 7, it's still going to be 7. So this topic is Introduction to Basic Algebra. You're going to be looking at variables like this: x plus 7, n minus 8, t plus 22, 5 times y. These are called variables, basic algebra expressions. So let's see how we're going to translate a problem to an expression here, algebraic expression. That's what these are called, algebraic expression. So let me change the topic to, I'm going to call translate to algebraic expressions. Excuse me. Thank you. To algebraic expression. Let me try this. X plus 4. When you hear that, the word plus means what? Add. X increased by 4. Increased by 4. When you increase something, do you take away from it? Do you add to it? Do you multiply it? What do you do? That's add to it. It's the same problem. It just looks different. I said it differently. X increased by 4. If we say we're going to take your age and increase it by 2, we add 2 years to your age. If I said, last quiz that you took, I'm going to increase each one of your score by 5 points. What do? You add 5 points to each one of your scores. So increase is the same as plus. Let's go back to chapter 1. In chapter 1, we said the word sum, the sum of x and 4. The word sum means what? Addition. So the word plus, the word increase, the word sum, they all means addition. 4 more than. That's also addition. 4 more than x. Not 4 plus x. It's 4 more than x. So it's x plus 4. If you wrote 4 plus x, that means x more than 4. 4 added to. So the word added to also means what? Addition. So these are some key words to pay attention to when you're doing some word problems or algebraic expression. If you see plus, increased, sum, more than, added, that means add. It means the same thing. Let's look at subtractions. Let me try subtractions and see what keywords to look for subtraction. N minus 3. N minus 3. What does that mean? N minus 3. So these are the subtractions. The word minus means subtract. Or n, instead of increase, we say what? Decreased by 3. Means n minus 3. Decreased by. That also means subtraction. The difference between n and 3. The difference means also what? Subtractions. We had more than in the other one, so guess what we have here? 3 less than n. Less than n. That means n minus 3. Or 3 subtracted from. All of these mean the same thing. Subtracted, less than, difference, decreased, minus, all means subtractions. When people ask me, I said, word problem is really hard. I said, remember these keywords. You're probably going to see one of these when you look at the problem. So now we know the ones for multiplication. We know the one, for addition, we know the ones for subtractions. Let's look at multiplications. Let's look for keywords for multiplications. If I wrote 3/4 times y. Times means multiplications. That means 3/4 times y. Now we usually don't put the multiplication symbol, so we might write that 3/4y. Or instead of the difference and the sum, we use what? The product. Product means multiplication of y and 3/4. Product. That means multiplications. Or 3/4 of. Of in math always means multiplications. An example of the of there, if I said I have a class that has 40 students in it, three-fourths of the class are what? Males. I'm looking at this class, there's more Men than ladies. 3/4 of the class. How many males in the class? We go 3/4 of means what? Multiply. And how big the class? 40. If you remember multiplying fraction, that's 40 over 1. You try to simplify it first. By 4, this is 1. By 4, this is what? 10. 3 times 10, 30 over 1, which is what? 30 students are males. 10 are female. So the word of means multiply. I ate 1/3 of the pizza. If the pizza has 9 slices, 1/3 of 9 slices. Of means multiply. So that's what we look for multiplication. Times, product, and of. And the last one is subtractions. Division. Oh, I mean division. I did subtractions. Thank you. So I might say t divided by by 5. T divided by 5. That will be what? T over 5. The quotient of t and 5. Notice t is first, goes on the top. 5 is second, it's on the bottom. Quotient means a fraction, division, divide. Or I might say t over 5. T on the top, over, divide by 5. So these are the keywords that we look for them. So let's try a few examples, see if some of the stuff sounds familiar.
Is it always going to give it the problem always going to give it to you in the right order? Like, for example, the quotient of...
If they say 5 over 5 and t, it would be 5 over t.
Okay.
So first one top, second one bottom. Yep. The quotient of top, bottom. So let's take some examples and go through them. Let me start with not bad one. P. I'll mix them now. It's not all one thing. Divided by 3. Any suggestion? P divided by 3. Look at your list. Divided means what? Division. That'll be what? P over 3. Let's try this. 4 less than. Again, if you want to look at your cheat sheet I just gave you. 4 less than x. Subtraction. Good. But what do you subtract? X minus 4. Not 4 minus x. Very good. X minus 4. If I said your age is 4 less than mine, so we take my age, take away 4 from it. So x minus 4. Less than means subtraction. 5 times f times multiplication. 5 times f. Again, a lot of times we don't put the dot there, so it's 5f. The sum of 2 and y. Sum is addition, 2 and y, 2 plus y, or you can write that y plus 2. For addition, doesn't matter which one you write first. Commutative property of addition. You can flip-flop these, it doesn't change the answer. Not for subtraction, but for addition. 2/3 of A. Of means multiply. 2/3 A. Okay. A decreased by 7. A decreased by 7. A minus 7. Good. Let's try this. 2 less than a number. 2 less than a number. Now notice the other ones, they always said A is decreased by the sum of 2 and y. 4 is less than x. Now they're not telling us what the number is. Could be x, yep. You can use any variable you want to use. I can use x, I can use n, so you can write that x minus 2. I can write that n minus 2. I can write that y minus 2. Doesn't matter what letter we use. Well, since number begins with the letter n, so I'll probably use n minus 2. That's my only reason why I use n. But it could be x, could be anything. So you're going to see a problem where they don't tell you what that variable is, so you have to pick a letter for it. Now on the test, to make sure you get the right answer, because if the answer is x minus 2 and you put n minus 2, they're going to mark it wrong. So guess what they're going to do with a question like this? They'll give you multiple choices. You tell me which one is the right answer. I guess all of our questions multiple choice. But if I was making a test that's not a multiple choice, I will have to make this question a multiple choice to make sure unless I'm grading it, instead of a computer. Unless I'm grading. If I'm grading, I don't care if you wrote x minus 2 or n minus 2 or y minus 2. But if I have the computer grading that, I will have to give you multiple choice so I know you use the right x or n or y. But it doesn't really matter which one we use. So I'm going to deal with problems like these now. An amount divided by 10. Do we know what the amount is? Since that's unknown, amount begins with the letter A. I'm going to stick with that notation. I'll use A divided by 10. So that's what? A over 10. Three-eighths of a price. Do we know what the price is? No, we'll use the letter what for it? P for price, good. 2/3 of P. Of means, 3/8 of P. What's 3/8 of? Of means what? Multiply. Let's try this. A quantity increased by 12. A quantity increased by 12. Increase means what? Addition. Quantity, we're going to use what? Q. Q increased by 12. That becomes what? Q plus 12. the cost multiplied by 2/7. The cost, we'll use letter what? C. Multiplied means what? Multiplications. C times 2/7, which is the same as 2/7 times C. Doesn't matter if you put the dot or not. The quotient of 9 and an account balance what are we going to use? B maybe? Quotient means what? Divide. The first number is always the top and the second one is always the bottom. So that'll be what? 9/B. The quotient is the division of, this is the top and the second one is always the bottom. You could use C, whatever, A, whatever you want to use for account balance. But that's, you have to write that 9 over whatever the variable is. Okay. That's section 4.1.